What is true wealth? Is it the glitter of gold, the shine of diamonds, or the endless numbers in a foreign bank account? Or is it something else? Something deeper, something eternal, across Africa. Tales are told of a village, that a place where money never ran out, where blessings seemed endless, and unlike the fearful rituals whispered in dark corners. Here, wealth came not from blood, but from a secret way of life, a practice protected for generations. Imagine a land where strangers arrived from faraway kingdoms, only to marvel at abundance they could not explain. A village where people lived not in fear, but in prosperity. What was their secret? And why does this story still live on today? Some say it was the gods themselves who blessed this land. A covenant between heaven and earth, sealed before time was counted. They believed the winds that blew across the valley carried whispers of abundance, and the rivers that flowed never ceased to return blessings. Others say it was not the gods, but the people, discipline, unity, and a mysterious practice outsiders could never explain. For in this village, no one stood alone. Every man's strength was the community's strength. Every woman's labor was the village's wealth. Every child's laughter, a blessing to multiply. Travelers from distant lands, traders who journeyed across deserts, merchants who crossed seas, spoke in awe of what they saw here. They expected poverty, scarcity, hunger. Instead, they found abundance without end. Markets filled with food, songs echoing through the air, faces that glowed with peace. But what struck them most was not the wealth they could see. It was the mystery they could not explain. How could a people live in prosperity without kings hoarding treasures? How could a land flourish without walls, without soldiers, without chains of control? For every attempt to measure their fortune in gold failed. Theirs was a wealth not physical, but spiritual. Generations later, the legend spread beyond their borders. In nearby lands, elders whispered the story under the shade of baobab trees. They said, wealth is not in greed, but in how a people honor what they have. Their words carried power, shaping minds for centuries. Yet still, outsiders wondered, was it magic? Was it myth? Or simply wisdom, too great to be understood? To this day, the mystery remains. Was it divine? Was it cultural discipline? Or was it the hidden key to prosperity that the modern world has forgotten? The truth may lie not in one answer, but in the harmony of many. And perhaps that is why this village is remembered not as a place, but as a symbol of what humanity can be, deep in the heart of West Africa, surrounded by hills and endless fertile land. There was a village unlike any other. This was not a place marked on maps or known by kings. Yet stories of its prosperity spread across kingdoms. The people had no walls, no armies, no gates. Yet they feared no invasion. They lived in peace, as though protected by an unseen force. Wealth was not measured by how many cows one man owned, or how many slaves another commanded. It was seen in the abundance of food, the joy of children, the strength of unity. Travelers said even the soil seemed to obey them, yielding crops in seasons of drought, bringing water where others found only dust. Merchants who journeyed through the Sahara carried back tales of endless feasts, overflowing markets, and hospitality so generous it felt otherworldly. But the secret of their wealth was not gold buried in the ground, nor treasures hidden in clay pots. It was something greater, a way of life, a rhythm of the spirit, an ancient truth, passed from parent to child. What made this village different was not what they possessed, but what they practiced. Their wealth was not guarded in treasure chests, but in rituals of harmony, gratitude, and balance with the land. Every morning, before work in the fields, the people gathered beneath the ancient baobab tree. Elders would speak blessings, children would listen, farmers would touch the earth with reverence before planting a seed. Their belief was simple: if the earth was honored, it would never fail them. If the community was united, no one would go hungry. Unlike kingdoms where power was seized by the sword, here, leadership was entrusted to those who gave the most, not those who took the most. It was said that once every season, the people held a festival, not for war, not for conquest, but for Thanksgiving. A feast where music echoed across the valley, drums called the spirits of joy, and dancers moved as though their feet touched heaven. Those who witnessed It swore the very air of the village was different, filled with a force that seemed to multiply. Whatever one gave, if you brought kindness, it returned tenfold. If you shared food, your harvest doubled. And so, their prosperity was not sorcery, but the miracle of community. A truth so simple, yet so powerful, that outsiders could hardly believe it. But stories of endless abundance do not remain hidden forever. Whispers crossed deserts and rivers, until they reached the ears of kings and merchants hungry for wealth. Some came with curiosity, others with envy. When they arrived, they found no vaults of gold, no sacred temples guarded by warriors. Instead, they saw simple people, living without fear, feasting together under open skies. The strangers offered silver and gold, demanding to know the secret, but the elders only smiled and said, "What we have cannot be bought, only lived." Some outsiders stayed, humbled by the joy they witnessed. They learned the rhythms of planting, of sharing, of giving thanks. In time, they too prospered, but not all hearts could change. A few grew impatient, demanding shortcuts, demanding more. They wanted the harvest without planting, the feast without sharing, the blessings without gratitude. And it was then they learned this blessing could not be stolen. Those who tried to take without giving found their sacks mysteriously empty. Their wealth turning to dust, the village remained untouched, unbroken, because its wealth was not in things, but in a way of life outsiders could never corrupt. But no truth, no matter how powerful, is safe from time. Seasons changed, generations rose and fell, and with them, memory began to fade. The village that once glowed with abundance slowly began to change. As contact with the outside world grew, so did desires that were never part of their way of life. Some younger ones no longer gathered under the baobab at dawn. They chose silver over song, wealth over wisdom. The sacred rhythm was broken, and then came an even greater storm. Strangers who did not arrive to learn, but to conquer. Colonizers, with ships and guns. They saw not the spirit of the people, but the riches of their soil. The harmony was broken. Fields once planted in gratitude were seized for profit. Markets once full of laughter echoed with silence. The way of life that had sustained generations was pushed aside. But even in this decline, whispers remained. The elders, though fewer, still spoke of the old ways. They told their children, true wealth is not in the coins of men, but in the unity of hearts. And though the world rushed toward new empires and foreign ways, the memory of the village, its spirit of abundance, refused to die. Centuries have passed, yet across Africa, echoes of that village remain. In every song sung at harvest, in every drumbeat of thanksgiving, in every hand that shares food with a neighbor, we may no longer gather beneath the same baobab tree. But the truth has never left us. True wealth is not in possessions, but in the spirit of community, gratitude, and unity. Today, the world chases wealth with speed and greed, but perhaps the secret we seek was already known to our ancestors, that prosperity without harmony is emptiness, but prosperity with unity is eternal. And so, the story of the village is not just a legend of the past. It is a reminder for today and a vision for tomorrow. The question is not whether the secret still exists, but whether we are willing to live it again.
Afri Truth, the untold story continues.